Yo, what up? This is D Knight, and you're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast. My oh my, we've had so much going on. For starters, in case you missed it, we've got a new addition to the Pardon Pie family, Tara Dublin. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Tara Dublin Rocks. Also, pick up a copy of her book while you're at it. Make her day, The Sound of Settling. A very fun and interesting read compared to the things we talk about on this podcast. But yeah, we're heading toward the do or die time for the 2024 election. Go ahead and hit up JoeBiden.com. Get that man like $1 a month or something. Help his campaign staff up and get prepared to try and save our democracy. And make sure to grab like one other person you know and tell them about the podcast. Make sure they subscribe and tune in every single week. We got a lot of things coming up for you this year. We need all the support that we can get. So if you do your part and help us grow our audience, we'll do our part and help elect Joe Biden in 2024 and save American democracy. And this is the Pardon the Insurrection podcast.
One, two, three, four.
Hey, this is D Knight.
This is Carol.
This is Ty.
You're listening to the Pardon the Insurrection podcast, where even us, the only podcast who seems to still care about the insurrection, are going to put that off to the side today and talk about the midterm elections, because wow, what a crazy roller coaster that was.
Who won?
Well, good news. It's like having an audience. Good news. Democrats won the Senate. It's practically official at this point. It's going to be at the very least 50-49. Democrats favor. There'll be a runoff in the Georgia election between one Senator Raphael Warnock and former football legend, I guess, if you want to call him that, Herschel Walker. And if you're not aware, clearly...
Is he formerly a legend or formerly a football player?
Maybe both. Maybe both. Football's taking its toll.
I understand it can be bad for the brain when it hits you in the head.
Yeah, you know, there's
It
would be a shame if someone was to exploit that to the benefit of the political party.
For their own benefit. That would be a travesty. Could you imagine? I mean, I can't see that happening.
Okay, so there's a thing.
Beyond the initial exploitation of young men and black men in college.
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy. It's apparently not good for your cognitive skills and reasoning. As a former running back, Herschel Walker seems to be suffering some potential side effects from the trauma he received in the league. It's not great. I'm not a doctor. I'm not offering a diagnosis. I'm just trying to, how do I put this politely, ascertain whether or not he has a functioning brain. Because he does some strange things, and he says some strange things. And I'm trying.
Now, who would have known there would be so many quote unquote viable, wink wink, political candidates in the pool of college athletes?
How many are there? Because he's the only one that I know of that's running.
No, but now they'll think of it. They're like, you have all these brain dead individuals who can be put out, on our values.
Next, we'll see, what the fuck, Antoine Jameson.
No, that's not football. And look, I don't think Raphael's gonna have too much of an issue winning his runoff election.
Yeah, because who's gonna pressure you to write postcards? I am. We're gonna write postcards. You're gonna donate money. You're gonna get people out there knocking on doors.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, we're gonna do it and crush it.
Yeah, I mean, if you care,
but we're not gonna buy you water because that's illegal.
Okay, I guess we should, while you're in line voting, I guess we could explain why it's important that even though the Democrats will, at the very least, split the Senate 50-50, but why it's even more important that they end up with the 51st seat. That's why this runoff matters. I guess for starters, having that extra seat in the Senate and not requiring a power sharing agreement with the Republican Party means that Democrats get absolute control of every committee, for starters. And they also get subpoena power without having to have without having to take a vote and peeling off a Republican on the Senate committees. And that might play an important part later, but we'll get to that. Also, given that in the past 2 years, there's been a number of scenarios where Democrats have 48 yay votes on a certain piece of legislation, and we have 2 potential peel offs in Manchin and Sinema. Well, having that extra vote makes one of them irrelevant, and even more feasible that we'll be able to pit one of them against the other to sign on to get
fight.
Yeah, cat fight. Yeah, Manchin and Sinema go at it. Not physically, figuratively. We don't need Joe Manchin out here hitting the women. No matter how much we dislike Kristen Sinema.
I don't know. I think
definitely don't. We definitely don't want a Joe and Kirsten hybrid baby.
Oh no.
Sorry, I didn't know what you meant by hitting.
No, not like hitting it, but like physically accosting, as in violence.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, it's okay to wake up and choose violence against Kristen Sinema as long as it's not like actual physical violence.
Not actual violence, but
the only person who's ever been a senator with whom we feel it's okay to make jokes about physical violence and them being a victim is Mike Pence. Apparently that's okay because like it was like them doing it to themselves. I don't make the rules. This is just the world we live in. Yeah, I feel like
I thought you were going to say Rand Paul. I mean, we can all agree that's hilarious.
Someone buy Rand Paul's neighbor dinner. He deserves it.
Look, the people are like, why would you encourage political violence? Like a song in what was it? Ted Cruz? He got fucking batted with a can. I mean, I do not encourage that, but that was political violence. Punching your shitty neighbor in the face is not political violence. Like True. My neighbors, I don't fight with my neighbors because I'm not a dick. Like
no one was punching Rand Paul in the face because of his political leanings. He was getting punched in the face because he was a piece of shit neighbor. That's different. Also, we're not encouraging like the physical accosting of anyone. It was just funny, right? Like, don't go out there hitting your senator, no matter how much of an asshole they are. I live in Tennessee. I know how it is. Don't do it, no matter how much you want to. No, anyway. So the importance of that 51st seat, like if you want to play a part in that, go ahead and log into ActBlue. Donate a couple bucks. Do your part. Make this happen. Get this dub. We plan to do big things in the future. Should the House also fall our way, which is another topic in and of itself. So far.
Also, like I wasn't 100% sure why some like fake or like not really canceled Robert E. Lee holiday is going to be observed on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, so you can't vote that day. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, it's all fun and games, but like plan a different day to vote. Like once early voting starts, go the first day. I wish I had that day offhand, what day it started.
Oh my God, I saw that. It's like, this is Brian Kemp. He says, this is black letter law, so we can't allow voting on Saturday.
That is the way it has always been done.
In black letter law. Okay.
It's unfortunate that we have leftover Confederate holidays and whatnot. It's not ideal.
Yeah, I mean, they're not celebrating Hitler's fucking birthday in Germany. Or fucking Gable, the day Gables was born.
Isn't it 420? I celebrate that every year.
I mean, can we cancel the Confederate holidays like we canceled Kanye? Like, maybe we can't make them completely go away, but we can cost somebody like $1 billion. That'd be nice. Be a good start.
This country.
What shoe company sponsors the Confederacy? Sorry, Ty.
Okay, so the midterms, it was a wild ride. There were a number of people projecting the Republicans to have not necessarily a record-breaking performance, but expected to sweep the House and Democrats to lose of a number of seats. anywhere from 35 to 45, maybe even 50 if they overperformed. That was not the case. They in fact are currently almost at a dead even split here. Some people have them projected to take 220-ish seats, give or take a few, with the margin for control of the House being at 218. No, I'm not one to prognosticate on what the eventual outcome will be. That's outside of my expertise. But given that Republicans were expected to perform extremely well and the reality being so drastically different, maybe we can dive into a few of the Republican Party's failures in the 2020 midterms. I think obviously one of the big driving forces that kept Democrats in the game was the Supreme Court going out of their way to overturn 50 years of established law, to put it back in the state's hands to decide whether or not women had access to both abortion and just general health care as it concerns their pregnancies. I feel like that turned out not only did it turn out a number of Democratic leaning voters, but it also probably moved a lot of independents our direction, especially as it appears Hispanic leaning women decided to, it's difficult to call it make a statement, but I don't know in what other way to interpret it. Apart from Florida, Hispanic women all across the country generally lean blue. And that might have been the difference in states like Arizona and New Mexico and Nevada and whatnot.
Well, like, believe it or not, women do not like being told what we can and cannot do with our bodies.
You don't say.
And our lives. So, like, telling us you're going to control us, and that if we don't want to be controlled, we're baby murderers, sluts, and, should be going to fulfill our value in the home or whatever. Like that's not a winning message. I'm like, oh, I see you're not a serious person, and I'm not going to listen to you anymore. Like, that seemed to be a resoundingly bad message, and people came out to tell them to go fuck off.
Okay, it's an understatement how bad of a message it was. There's actually no way to put it in context to how terrible of an idea and a platform it was to say, hey, you don't get to have control over these life-changing decisions as it regards to planning your family and having children. Especially, and
it's not even. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
Good.
No, have you looked at the Liz Cheney throwing shade at Kari Lake?
Oh no, I missed it.
Not yet.
Oh God,
I gotta look that up.
Oh, we're recording, but it's not just like the reproductive choices and stuff. It's like that you can't access basic medical care in a lot of situations because you might become pregnant, or you might be pregnant. It's just like they want to fucking kill us.
Yeah, I think that's the game, right? Torture women for no reason. I don't understand the game plan, but that's what it is, folks.
No,
that's what it is.
So Kari Lake had made a letter. She's like, "Dear Liz, thank you for your generous and kind contribution to my campaign. Your recent television ad urging Arizonans not to vote for me is doing the opposite. Our campaign donations are skyrocketing, and because of the commercials that Liz was putting, she's like, enjoy your forced retirement from politics." And because she lost today, Liz said, "You're welcome, Kari Lake."
Yeah, right. Okay, so so Kari Lake put out that press statement. It was like, "Oh, thanks, Liz. Thanks for all the help you've given me by encouraging people to not vote for me," which, ended up in a massive contribution of donations. This was October 28th. And then today, Liz Cheney was like, "You're welcome, Kari Lake," as Kari Lake has been officially defeated. Good job. I appreciate your shade, Liz. Like your politics are fucked up and your family's a disaster, but your snark is 10 out of 10. You a champion. I'm glad. Yeah, it's great. I'm glad they're both retiring.
Someone said, when a Cheney shoots you in the face, they don't miss.
Oh my God,
beautiful.
Oh no.
I am laughing.
All right. Unlike her dad, she actually
Trust me,
goes
boy.
for the kill. That's how that is. Wait, now I got to tweet that because that was pretty fucking good.
I know. I've got to. I see. I love to put this on Facebook because my people.
All right, guys, everyone take a break to retweet the joke you just made on the show.
I mean, no, we don't have to take a break. I'll just edit it out.
I'm just kidding. I don't have anything.
How did your
This is really good.
costumes go, Carol?
Oh, I was the chief person in charge of ironing and steaming them.
Nice.
So they looked really good. People are all like congratulating the cast on the amazing job they did, which they did. And they were like, Carol did the costumes. And I'm like, yes, I ironed all of them. People think I like made them and whatever. It's fun. Like, it's nice being somewhere other than my home where I'm doing everything. But then like little people are like, you're the worst, mommy. I hate you, mommy.
It's nice when everyone appreciates you for what you do.
Yeah. Like my husband appreciates me, but like, you know, the kids
Does he
are
appreciate
grading.
you
And then
long
I go,
hard?
Yeah, but you have sex with him.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what they're-
Hey, way to be subtle, Ty.
Yes. But so it was nice to just like doing these same tasks I do at I don't even iron and steam at home. I don't do that at home.
Okay,
but people are just like, thank you. That's so nice. And I'm like, oh, and I get to hear them singing. So it's fun.
Aw.
It's good to be loved. I don't know anything about that.
Wah,
I'm sorry, I'm bitter.
wah.
Okay, I'll get us back on topic. Okay, abortion. That was clearly a failure on the part of Republicans. I mean, it doesn't get any more obviously stated than that.
And now they have to carry it to term.
So other places where I think they failed. I mean, this one's not necessarily as obvious, but I think it does play a fairly significant impact, at least in the margins. The fact that Republicans went into an entire midterm election where they didn't have a platform, they didn't have any plans. Like their entire platform was like, but gas is expensive.
Well, no, they were going in on these they really wanted to double and triple down on these culture wars. They're like, oh, but like drag queens at brunch, like their drag queens are ruining Eggs Benedict. Like, that's just,
I actually had that universal. I had that one on the list too. Okay, so it's ironic. So look, we spend our lives on Twitter. That's what we do. I can admit it. But we're also in the camp of Twitter is not the real world. Like I know it's not necessarily an accurate reflection of how the world exists in reality, but like it's a subsection of American culture, and it definitely plays a part in how news is covered and also how politics are. It's difficult to talk about. Okay, so all the stupid things that we do on the internet, they like trickle up into the news in certain ways. But for the right, it's incredible how these stupid culture wars on the internet trickle up into actual policy. Like here in Tennessee, immediately after the midterms, like the first thing our state legislature did, it wasn't like, oh, we need to solve inflation. Oh, we need to find a way to get gas prices down. It's like, no, we need to ban public drag shows. What the fuck? Like, what are you doing with your time there, right? But where did they even get this idea from? Like, it sprang up from the Twitter net. We're somehow grooming our children to be I don't even actually know what the conspiracy theory is now that I think about it. But like some idea that like if a child is exposed to a person dressed in drag, that's somehow going to influence their psychology and turn them into a neoliberal
No, they're saying that like
transsexual.
that this sort of activity hypersexualizes children to make them more complacent to sexual abuse. Like that's the idea, but they're also taking a very real concept of grooming and applying it to anything they don't like.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
teaching kids about being gay is grooming. It's like, well, no, teaching them. They're like, yeah, because like kids don't know how to need to know how to use dildos. Like, what the fuck do you think this like that? No one is teaching that to kids. Like that
no
is.
one is teaching a kid to be fucking gay.
Wait,
Like,
hold on.
that's
I'm
not
an
a
adult,
thing.
and no one's taught me how to use a dildo.
But that's not a thing. Like it's, you know,
Dildos are real.
I love dinosaurs.
How do you use them?
But I didn't think that I was going to become one. I fucking watched Jurassic Park. Like I didn't, or because I read about the Allosaurus in a fucking book. You know?
All right.
Like
Harold made a visual representation of how one is supposed to properly use a dildo.
Oh dear.
We'll just leave it to your imagination.
With my hand, people.
Look, we've gotten off in the weeds. The point here is like the shit that Republicans have decided to double down on is fucking stupid, and it originated from the internet and doesn't actually move people in the real world. And that's contributed to some degree to them losing midterm elections.
Yet they glorify the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders and their calendars.
Oh man.
And the Hooters girls. And my daughter worked at Twin Peaks, and it was like lumberjack Hooters, pretty much. They would wear these fucking
lumberjack Hooters.
Yeah.
That sounds
like they would have to wear these like boots up to their knees and these shirts that were fucking plaid and whatever, and things out. But then they started to change. Like they would line the girls up and they would get points and they would get deducted based on their hair and their nails and how skinny they were. Like,
okay, I'm not opposed to Hooters, but like this is some objectifying.
And then they changed and they would have lingerie days.
Oh no!
And my daughter's like, I've got to find a garter belt,
or you can quit.
And this is at fucking Twin Peaks.
This is wild.
They did a Jameson promotion. My daughter was picked for it. It was just fine, whatever. But yeah, so people are coming in with their kids and going to eat. And mind you, the girls had to pay for their own stuff. And they're wearing fucking bras and then fucking stockings and garter belts.
Not ideal.
Yeah.
Side note, we used to have this restaurant here. It was called Donks. If you think about it, like if just in terms of like what the name of that is, in comparison to Hooters, like you get the idea.
She got a dunk.
Yeah, it was like the antithesis of no, not the antithesis, but yeah. Anyway, yeah. I don't actually have another point to make. I just wanted everyone to know that there was a restaurant called Donks here. It's actually kind of fantastic. Like it.
Was it like Magic City?
It was not like that. Like we didn't the staff wasn't doing anything that you would consider extremely objectifying. So they would wear shorts, and yes, they would be kind of like tight and revealing in a way, considering the theme of the restaurant. But like they would wear tights under the shorts, so it's not like you had actual donk cheeks just flapping everywhere.
Flapping.
And it's even funnier because no one actually came there for like the girls. You just you'd come to drink a beer or eat some wings or watch football. It would be like an aesthetic. No one was out here like grading the girls or making them wear lingerie or deducting points for their. Anyway, I went off on a tangent. That's unimportant. But yeah, donks. Should bring that back. Do better, Tennessee. Getting rid of all the good
Were
shit.
were they unlike or like a truck?
Okay, other reasons that may have impacted the Republican failures in these midterm elections. Next on the list, I have Rick Scott disappearing apparently $100 million from the National Republican Senate Committee funds. That was great. So apparently this dude had the bright idea of like, yeah, I'll generate all this revenue by investing, quote unquote, all this massive amount of funds in the digital ads and try and fundraise. And
he was the Brad Parscale of the Republican Committee, because that's pretty much the same thing that Parscale did. And he fucking spent all that money. The Trump campaign's money on that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, he was the Rick Scott of campaign
Rick Scott
funds. He was the himself of campaign funds, because he basically did the same thing with the campaign money that his medical company.
That he did with Medicare.
Yeah. It's incredible. I like that like you would give the guy who's like literally known as the biggest Medicare fraudster of all time access to all your money. That's a genius move. That absolutely, like, it's not the only thing in the cost in the Senate, but like in the margins, it's definitely the reason why we might end up with 51 seats now. That was fantastic. Good job, Rick Scott. Pat yourself on the back. You're the reason Mitch McConnell now gets to become the one thing he hates the most, a minority.
That was good. I applaud that.
He'll be a minority for the rest of his life. Now you know what it's like, buddy. Now you know.
Okay, I'm going to have to.
He might actually die now. He's like, oh no, I'm going to be a minority for the rest of my life. And he'll just quit.
Hold on. I got to get where the hell is my pen? There it is. I got to write that down because I'm going to tweet that.
Oh, I beat you to it. I beat you. Once it was official that we'd had 50 seats. Yep, sorry. Ha ha.
Damn it, D.
You snooze, you lose. All right. Next up on the list, yet another reason why the GOP failed in the midterm elections. Well, that would be Donald Trump once he left office. Rather, actually, once he lost the 2020 election, engaged in a massive fraudulent fundraising scheme for his super PAC. And to this point, I can't tell you exactly how much money he's raised, but he's currently sitting on about $100 million in unspent funds. Guess how many of those dollars he spent to help Republicans out in the midterms?
Was it 2?
Lower.
Lower. Gee, there's not much lower than that.
If audience out there, if you had $0 as your answer, you would be correct. Ding, 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 ding. Ty, tell them what they get. You get the Senate. Sorry. All right, don't mind me. All right, look, I'm auditioning for my future as a game show host. I'm gonna be on some Wayne Brady type shit.
Oh shit! What happened? Is he still alive? Is he still? I haven't seen.
Let's play. Is he still alive? Starring Wayne Brady.
Is he still alive? Go.
That's a fun game. We'll save that for next week. We'll play that one next time. I promise. I
actually like that segment.
Do you? No. Well, I've got some fun game show type segments we'll do in the future. You guys stay tuned, like and subscribe. If that keeps you hooked. Waiting for the next episode. That's fantastic. You got something to look forward to. But yeah, Trump in his utter selfishness and endless narcissism didn't spend a single fucking dollar helping the people that would have rigged the election for him in 2024. So yeah, way to think ahead there. Genius fucking move. All right. And next on the list, obviously, poor candidate quality.
Piss poor. I was about to say piss poor.
All right, guys. Here's another quiz. What is poor candidate quality code for?
White supremacy.
No.
Unqualified idiots that they keep posting because Trump picked them. Is that it? Is
Yes.
that it?
You nailed it. Everyone give
Yay.
Carol an
Carol, I
applause.
lose every time.
These fucking morons that Trump handpicked to win their primaries, many of them ended up losing. And I mean, that's not necessarily the definition of poor candidate quality in general. But in the midterms, if Trump picked them, they lost.
That's the worst you're allowed to say when you're in the Republican Party about the very, very obvious mistakes that people around you are making while you're busy being a fucking coward.
Can we talk about the Stepford wedding?
Okay. Well, that's not a reason why Republicans lost the midterms.
Are you
Yeah,
sure?
Tiffany, I
Are you
mean,
sure?
she looked beautiful. Good for her.
The dress was amazing. I loved it.
Everything she had looked pretty. The only thing I don't get is like pastels in the fall. Is that just a Miami thing?
It probably is a South Florida
No,
thing,
that's
to
a
be
white
honest.
trash thing.
Is it? I don't know. I'm not familiar with white trash weddings.
When I
don't know
was
anything too much
like
about.
poor and working like
I'm black.
weddings and whatever at the country clubs and stuff, I worked a wedding where they were Mike's Hard Lemonade and pimento sandwiches were.
Yeah,
Wow.
but see, like that could be like a white trash thing, or that could be like Augusta National. Like there, it could be.
So wait,
It's a
pimento sandwiches or pimento cheese?
pimento cheese.
Pimento cheese sandwiches.
Okay, not just like pimentos and
No, they didn't just put pimentos out. And then they were giving like Mike's Hard Lemonade was the liquor of choice for the
their
wedding.
signature cocktail.
Yeah. That they were having. And that's what like looking at that's what it was like reminding me of. But the pastels, the colors, like it's like this, but even in spring, it would have been awful because it was garbage. But
All right. Well, to your pastel point, if like Kimberly Guilfoyle was the odd one out, she wore a black dress. That was great. So as trashy as like the pastel colors might be in November, Kimberly was out here dressed in a funeral.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter if the theme is off season. If that's what the bride wants, that's what you fucking wear. What the hell? Was
Yeah,
Kim's
blend
not a
in,
bride?
ho. Like
I am convinced they didn't tell her because they're mean girls.
she was out there wandering around Mar-a-Lago looking like the Grim Reaper. It was fucking incredible. She was taking souls and just shepherding them to the underworld. It was great. Ivanka even cropped her out of her Instagram photo. That was fantastic.
That was awesome.
Wait, what was even better is when she deleted and then reposted it.
And then like put on her story, like, or her reel,
man.
like, oh.
You know what? That dress might have been the reason why they lost the midterms.
Yeah, she ruined the picture. Oh, why she lost the midterms. I thought you were going to say why they cropped the picture. You got me there. You got me.
Maybe the cow would have went a little better if Kimberly hadn't worn that dress.